This episode will cover fluid lines and fittings. What are the two types of fluid lines commonly found in aircraft? Rigid metal lines and flexible hoses. Describe the method of classifying metal tube according to size. Metal tubing is sized according to wall thickness and outside diameter. Outside diameter is measured in 1/16 of an inch increments. When installing stainless steel tubing, what type of fitting should be used? Stainless steel fittings. What is the function of the sleeve on a flared tube fitting? The nut fits over the sleeve and draws the sleeve and the tubing flare tightly against the metal fitting to form the seal. Describe the two types of flares commonly used on aircraft tubing. The single flare and the double flare. How can you determine if a fitting is an AN type rather than an AC type? AN fittings have a shoulder between the flare cone and the end of the threads. AC fittings do not. What are the most significant differences between AN and AC fittings? Sleeve length, thread pitch, and the shoulder between the threads and the flare cone on the AN fitting. What are the names of the parts of a flareless tube fitting? The nut and the ferrule, or sleeve. How do you tell a flareless fitting from a flare type fitting? Flareless fittings do not have a flare cone, and there's no space between the threads and the end of the fitting. What is the effect of over-tightening a flare type fitting? The sealing surface may be damaged or the flare cut off. In addition to being securely clamped, what is an additional requirement for installing metal, fuel, oil, and hydraulic lines? The lines must be electrically bonded to the structure. What are some of the important advantages of Teflon tubing? Is compatible with nearly every liquid, has a broad operating temperature range, low resistance to fluid flow, and has a very long shelf life and service life. Describe the identification marks commonly found on flexible hoses. A ley line. Identification such as mil-spec number, the manufacturer's name or symbol, the hose size, and a date code. How can you determine if a flexible hose has been correctly installed? The ley line will be straight if the hose is properly installed. A twisted ley line indicates an incorrect installation. How are flexible hose sizes designated? By the inside diameter, measured in 1/16 inch increments. What precautions must be observed when deburring the end of a tube after it is cut? The wall thickness must not be reduced in size or fractured. Describe the operation of quick disconnect couplings. Each half has a valve that is held open when coupled and is spring-loaded closed when disconnected. If you fabricate a replacement for a flexible hose, what percentage of the total length must be allowed for movement under pressure? Five to 8%. What happens to the tube when a flareless fitting is over-tightened? The tube is weakened when the nut drives the cutting edge of the sleeve too deeply into the tube. Why are quick disconnect fittings used? To provide a quick means to connect or disconnect a fluid line without loss of fluid or entrance of air into the system.